I'm Professor Marcoux. I'm the organizer for the E-Initiative Global Game Jam 2011, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do this because we received a grant to support this through the Kauffman Foundation. We're given $12,000 to support the Game Jam for 2 years, and it's worked out really well. Last year we had 12 students registered who participated in making games, and they created a number of video games. This year we have, it's been opened up to board games, not just to video games. We have 27 participants, hoping for one more, and we have 6 games for them video and 2 board games. So it's more than doubled in 1 year. This year they've changed it a bit. They've opened it up to the design of board games, which I think is a very positive thing to do. And they have 44 different countries and 177 different locations. So thinking like Melbourne, Australia, I was looking at one of the feeds they had earlier, and they've been going for 14 hours, and some people were actually still awake. So all of these start at 5 p.m. on Friday evening. So imagine 14 hours, that's what, 7 a.m.? I've tried not to spend too much time in a room. I want to be surprised like everyone else at Sunday at 3 o'clock when all these teams upload their games. I want to be just as surprised as everyone else to see what they've come up with. So the kind of things I have been impressed with and surprised by, pleasantly surprised, is the way most teams have gotten organized relatively quickly and worked together relatively, I shouldn't even use the term relatively, have worked together without conflict. As Professor Kleeman was joking to the police when they came by earlier, everything's okay, there's no blood on the walls, you know, things like that. But it's turned out that I think the teams got organized pretty quickly and they're doing pretty well. I think we're going to have some good games. I think we're going to have some good games to watch. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, I'd like to just introduce to everyone Dean Nyberg. He is the interim dean of the School of Business and the dean of the School of Agriculture and Natural Resources. I invited him out here to see what was going on and give him the opportunity to say something if he'd like to.
Sure. Thank you. Welcome to the visitors to campus. It's nice to get invited to a fun event like this. Makes me feel right at home. I feel like I'm in my parents' bed with my 2 little brothers, watching all their buddies come in with cases of Mountain Dew and a computer under their arm, and all-nighters all the time. So it is kind of fun event for me too. I've got 2 little brothers who are IT guys and game guys, and working in the field, by the way, still many years after they were in your spot in college. So it's fun. I've visited the website. My son's played a couple of the games that are on it after you mentioned it. So it sounds like a event. Welcome and good luck. I look forward to playing your game.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me just say that last year I bought 12 cases of Mountain Dew. I had 12 students who said, oh, we could just drink enormous amounts of this and we needed to keep going. And so I made a trip and I got 12 cases. I brought it in and they only drank 5. And so we had 7 cases that were then distributed to students drinking throughout the day, drinking warm Mountain Dew. So your typical 8 o'clock class, most students were surprisingly awake. I don't know what happened by 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the caffeine and the sugar wore off, but at least in the morning classes, everyone seemed to be pretty energized. This year, I've toned it down a bit, and it's kind of almost like a just-in-time type process. I did start out with 1 case of Diet Pepsi, 1 case of Pepsi. Now these are also, I have to mention, they're no longer 12-ounce cans, they're 20-ounce bottles, so you got a bit more there. So Diet Pepsi, Pepsi, and 1 of Mountain Dew, and some Arizona tea. Is that that's what it's called? And then something with some old golfer on it with lemonade and iced tea. I think the students are having a lot of fun, which is the whole purpose of this entire game jam. They should be coming in here and having fun. When you think about it, students work very hard during the week. They're in classes. They're doing a lot of homework. The weekend should be a time to relax and just enjoy things. But here we have students who are basically staying up most of 48 hours creating video games and board games. And so I have to give these students a lot of credit for coming in and doing this, because we're not doing this associated with any grade or class or anything like that. It's just something they're volunteering to come in and do. I do know that they're expecting, with the International Game Jam, they're expecting to have over 1,000 games. Last I checked, there were 177 different locations in 44 different countries. Some locations like Copenhagen, Denmark had at least 300 participants, but they've been doing this for a while and they're pretty well organized. I'm hoping in a couple of years, now that it's been open to board games as well as video games, we'll be able to grow this a little bit more. Somehow we want to keep it big enough to just stay on the second floor of Charlton Hall, but give a few more students the opportunity to come in and have some fun. What I'd like to pass on to people who might want to be interested in joining the E-Initiative Game Jam in the future is we need to remember it's all about the fun. You come here, you should find some place where you feel comfortable. If you're an artist, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of artists this year, there's plenty of places you can go and develop artwork. It can be developed either for a board game or a video game. If you're a programmer, we have opportunities for you also. If you like to write, we have some opportunities for you too. So we invite students to come, utilize some of the skills and interests that you have, and just come for a weekend to relax, meet some new people, and have some fun. One thing I'd like to mention, last year, among all the different sites around the world that made video games, there were, I think, 770 made last year. I think about 8 or 10 were actually purchased by game companies, the prototypes for them. So then they hired these teams to actually make the game on a professional level. What I heard from at least one of the teams this year is they were developing a board game, and they said, this might make a great video game. So it is possible after the Game Jam ends that some of the efforts of some of these students will continue, and in the case of at least one group, take the concept they've developed into this board game and make it into a video game. So this provides students with an opportunity to learn and grow, make new friends. We have some people from the local community here. We're fortunate enough to have students from different colleges, a couple of students from Cayuga Community College, thanks to Dr. Richard Bauer and his video game narrative class. We have a couple of students that are in that particular class. We have a couple of people from the community. We have a young woman from Cazenovia College. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of other places we have students from. Lots of Morrisville students. If it wasn't for Morrisville students, this wouldn't be happening. So thank you, Morrisville and Morrisville students.